Tonight, social media video out of British Columbia shows things are heating up again over the Trans Mountain Pipeline.
It is going to be multi-level, and it's really going to allow us to start to share our stories, our history, our culture through our food.
Caldwell First Nation is getting back on its stable economic ground with the help of their Anishinaabe culture. And taking the annual Kanesatake cardboard box sledding race to new heights and new lows. Good evening. Welcome to APTN National News. I'm Melissa Ridgen. The fastest growing population in the Northwest Territories are seniors, but many of them live in remote communities and are already facing challenges allowing them to age in peace. Our reporter Charlotte Moritz-Jacobs takes us to the smallest community in Dunedin for that story.
It's gone. Water on top of the means of water.
For as long as she can remember, Margaret Leishman has been advocating for elders across the Northwest Territories, and in particular, for those in her Dene community of Kakatu, Kakisa. With a population hovering around 50, it's the smallest community in the NWT. There's no seniors residence or home care services. And Leishman says the elderly are being left to fend for themselves.
It's a really struggle for the elders because housing and the NWT Housing Corporation, whenever elders were applying for repairs or assistance, they were told they can't help them because their family members live with them. We are Dene people, and we're family-oriented people.
Leishman is one of 7 elders here, and at 77 years young, she does what she can. Like the weekly trip down to Hay River, an hour-and-a-half drive, just to fill prescriptions.
With new medication that they're getting, I had an elder with me in Hay River. They didn't know what they were taking, those pills. I just took those pills from them and looked at their labels and read it on the computer for them to see what side effects it had. Those are the kind of things that our elders need, for somebody to tell them.
The community is family-oriented, always taking care of their own. But even leadership, like Chief Lloyd Chico, says his community needs more education on issues such as cancer, diabetes, and dementia.
Subtle differences you notice in people and things like that. And then because we live out here, we're near a river, and there's lots of trails that go all over the place. We think of some of the ones that do get dementia, because they found them wandering around and stuff, like with my uncle and stuff.
Since the fall of 2020, the territorial government has been developing an elder strategy. APTN was told by the health department that the strategy is expected by June 2022. Executive Director of the NWT Senior Society, Suzette Bontre, says the challenges in Kakisa are representative of issues facing the territory as a whole.
But the number of seniors is growing. It's more than doubled since 2003, and I think we have a lot of catch-up to do, both in supportive living, in all three really, and more services in the home, in supportive living and in long-term care.
Even with seniors being the fastest growing population in the territory, Leishman sees the matter beyond statistics, caring for the elderly as a sign of respect.
When we lived on the land, we shared everything together. We didn't leave our elders because they were old. They've traveled with us. We took care of them.
Charlotte Moritz-Jacobs, APTN National News, Kakisa.
An Indigenous youth group called the Braided Warriors were holding anti-pipeline demonstrations at insurance agencies recently, one of which came to a dramatic end by the Vancouver Police Department. APTN's Lee Wilson explains.
This is the violent removal of the Braided Warriors who were demonstrating against the Trans Mountain Pipeline. The Braided Warriors are a group of youth from the Tsleil-Waututh, Squamish, and Musqueam territories. The AIG insurance office in the building was the target of the protest. The warriors want them to stop insuring the pipeline. According to a youth who did not want to be identified, people were inside the building when the police came in with very few words, but a strong showing of force.
Many people were injured. I think it's safe to say that almost all of the youth that were inside were grabbed or pushed or injured in some way. 2 youth had to go to the hospital, one of them after she was arrested.
The Braided Warriors say 4 of their youth were arrested and charged with trespassing. They also said similar demonstrations were held at other insurance companies, but no arrests or altercations. But with this demonstration, that all changed. The Union of BC Indian Chiefs condemned the violence. UBC-IC executive Judy Wilson says this is an isolated event in Canada.
So many times our Indigenous people are met with violence and when they're standing up for the land. And a lot of the events I've been to have been peaceful, coordinated. A lot of our elders or youth are on front lines, and this is how they've been treated.
A Vancouver Police Department spokesperson responded to APTN News through email, stating a tent and barricade was built at the entrance of the building, and people were being blocked from entering or leaving the building. The youth don't want their reason for the demonstration to be lost. They stand in opposition to the Trans Mountain Pipeline.
We don't want an internal investigation. We don't want an apology. We want the Crown to stop criminalizing Indigenous people and Indigenous land offenders. And we want these resource extraction projects out of our communities and off our territories. And we want our people to be safe.
Lee Wilson, APTN National News, Kitimat.
About a dozen people gathered today in downtown Vancouver in support of the Braided Warriors and their efforts to stop the Trans Mountain Pipeline. The group was there to record video testimonials of Braided Warriors who were violently arrested during that protest we just saw at the company that is insuring the pipeline. They say that the testimonials will be submitted to the UN Human Rights Council Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. In addition to opposing all pipelines, the group also wants to see the abolishment of outside police forces on First Nation territory.
We wish to see abolishment of all police forces on all Native lands, to return to natural law, to Indigenous law. We have our own systems of governance and of law, and we want to revitalize them, and we will revitalize them. We want an immediate termination and shutdown of Trans Mountain's operations, and we want the immediate withdrawal of all the insurance companies and financiers backing Trans Mountain in order to achieve this shutdown.
We've got to take a break, but when we come back, a Southern Ontario First Nation getting itself on solid economic ground. Stay with us.
Help us be able to, bring back language and culture and relearn as a community some of our traditions.
Welcome back. We'll shift gears now to our series of interviews about how the COVID-19 pandemic is affecting First Nation communities. This week we are speaking with Dr. Jessica Jackman. She is the public health physician for the Atlantic region of Indigenous Services Canada. Dr. Jackman, everybody's heard about that Atlantic bubble, kind of among the lowest COVID-19 numbers in Canada. Have those low numbers carried over into First Nations community in the Atlantic region?
Yeah, so thanks for having me here today. In general, we've been doing quite well in Atlantic Canada. The numbers continue to be low. There have been some cases in First Nations communities in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, but thanks to strong public health leadership as well as very strong community leadership, those numbers have stayed low. They were well managed and the communities did very well with it. So it was really a coordinated, strong, and effective effort between public health and the communities and their leadership.
Is there vaccine reluctance on First Nations communities in Atlantic Canada? I know we're seeing that in some other communities, and you know, rightfully so. Historically, vaccines and Indigenous populations have not a great history. Is that happening there? And what's the response from the health community, I guess, if it is?
Yeah, so great question. As you said, we tend to see some vaccine hesitancy across Canada, and is my understanding that Atlantic Canada isn't immune to that. We've had lots of really good conversations with communities, community leadership like the chiefs, as well as the health directors, and we have heard from leaders that they hear concerns with community members having questions around vaccine, maybe having some hesitance, or just not being as confident in the vaccine. So what we've been doing in Indigenous Services Canada, and part of my role, is we've been doing a lot of education efforts with communities, supporting them in making sure they have the resources to give to their communities to answer questions, because it's okay for people to have questions around vaccines, and we welcome questions. So our main role has been supporting communities and the leadership in answering those questions with any resources. We've done a couple of town halls, and those have gone really well. We've gotten really great feedback from the chiefs that some of those education efforts are really helping people have their questions around the vaccine answered, and helping with their confidence in the COVID vaccine, which is really important for people to have to protect themselves against COVID. So it's been going quite well in that regard, and we continue to support the communities with any questions they have.
I'll go now. We had asked some of our viewers, do you have a question for a doctor? And they've responded as we anticipated they would. Lots of great questions out there. I'll give you a couple. Somebody has asked, has anybody with a compromised immune system and kidney disease received the vaccine? Is this something that you have to worry about if you have kidney disease getting the vaccine?
So it's a good question, and for situations where someone has a medical condition or has any specific concerns that relates to their own kind of health as it relates to the vaccine, what we do is we encourage people to connect with their healthcare provider, whether that's a nursing professional in the community that they trust, or a physician, or some other healthcare professional in the community that they trust, to discuss their current personal health situation to make sure that the vaccine is the right choice for them at any given moment. So we encourage those conversations between an individual and their healthcare provider to make sure it's the best fit.
Makes sense. Well, thank you, Dr. Jackman, for taking time out of your busy day. Thanks for everything you in the medical profession do for us, and for answering some of the questions here for us today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
The Chippewas of Point Pelly are wasting no time jumping into some grand ventures. Not so long ago, they were a landless band. Now they're preparing to break new ground. Here's Annette Francis with more on that story.
There's nothing much to see right now, but this is the future site of the world's largest Indigenous restaurant.
It's going to be multi-level, and it's really going to allow us to start to share our stories, our history, our culture through our food. So one of the things I'm going to be looking to do is really tell a regional story based off our relationship to the land, our terroir, and how the Caldwell people would have survived off this land for thousands of years.
The world-class restaurant will be located on the shores of a marina owned and operated by the Caldwell First Nation. It's just a few kilometers away from the Point Pelly National Park on the north shore of Lake Erie. In 2010, the Chippewas settled an old land claim with the federal government for $105 million. That 230-year battle for their homeland is behind them now. Chief Robin Perkins says they're focused on the future.
It's going to help us be able to, bring back language and culture and relearn as a community some of our traditions. But it's also going to set us up to be prosperous and be able to make sure that the future generations have a home.
This empty warehouse is another project still in the works. It will soon be renovated into a medical marijuana growth facility. According to Councillor Stan Scott, they're very close to obtaining a license from Health Canada.
This area right here will be the grow area, where all the pods will be situated, and then the next room just adjacent to us, behind us, will be the staging area, where it's sort of like the clean room before you come into the actual grow area. So just to make sure that there's no microbes or anything that can destroy our crop.
The facility is about 50,000 square feet, so Scott says there's room for expansion. He's hopeful the venture will be a success.
We've already have a partner that is going to take everything that we can grow initially. So that's very exciting in itself.
This 200-acre plot acquired reserve status last fall. It's one of over 30 properties purchased to date. According to Nikki Van Schott, plans to move the community back home are coming together.
Anybody who is interested in coming back home will be able to find a home eventually here. We're developing our master plan right now, so we have to work with the municipality of Leamington to get our municipal services agreements in place. That's for the water connections and sewer connections. So that's underway right now.
While they wait for new homes, if approved, the marijuana grow facility could be operating within a few months. The restaurant and remodeled marina will open its doors by the end of this summer. Annette Francis, APTN National News, Caldwell, First Nation.
We need to take another break, but still ahead, it was all downhill for the cool runnings of some homegrown sledding talent at Kanesatake.
Beef cold.
Sweet victory.
Sweet victory.
Welcome back. It's time now for our photo of the day. Toby Wilson shared this stunning shot of the Northern Lights in Norway House, Manitoba. Thank you for sharing this picture with us, Toby. We've seen lots of beautiful Northern Lights photos recently. I guess that's the one benefit to really cold weather. Send us your shot. Maybe you can be our next photo of the day. Send it to or share at aptn.ca. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's weather forecast. Off to the east coast, we got -4 in sunshine for St. John's, -3 in snow for Halifax. Inukjuak, sunshine, -25 degrees. Kuujjuaq, -7 in some snow. Sept-Îles, -1 and sunny. Montreal, 6 and some flurries expected there. Snow, -4 for North Bay, 5 and some cloud, maybe some flurries in Sault Ste. Marie. -12 in snow for Sioux Lookout, -21 in sunshine for Big Trout Lake. -20, oh, lots of -20s. Puckatawagan, Thompson, God's Lake, Norway House, sunshine though. -14 in snow for Winnipeg, 2 with a mix of sun and cloud for Brandon. -12 in sunshine for Saskatoon, -14 in snow over in Yorkton. Buffalo Narrows also -14, but sunny skies there. -25 up north for Uranium City and sunny, but snow, and -25 for Stony Rapids. Port Chip, -11 in snow, 1 in sunshine for Grand Prairie. 5 in sunny skies for Edmonton, -4 in snow for Lethbridge and Medicine Hat. 5 in sunshine for Quesnel and Kamloops, 9s for Victoria and Vancouver, sunny skies there. -6 in sunshine for Fort Nelson, Smithers, snow and 4 degrees. -10 in sunny for Beaver Creek, -1 in sunshine in Whitehorse. Norman Wells, -23 and snow Wati, snowing there too, -22. Tech, sunshine and -29. Clear in Sax Harbor, -26. -27 for Baker Lake, Chesterfield, and Whale Cove, but clear skies there. Joe Haven, -42 and clear. Tally Oak, -39 and clear. Snow, -22 for Clyde River. Ever wonder what APTN staffers do with their weekends during a pandemic? Well, for some of us, it involves cardboard, a rubber chicken, a whole lot of snow, and the annual Kanesatake cardboard box sledding race. Inclement weather narrowed the field of entrance, but not the entertainment value. Lindsay Richardson explains the rest.
The 2021 Kanesatake cardboard sled race challenged us to think outside the box, and it was all downhill from there.
We're going to do one run. I want to see how the sleds comes down. I have asked APTN to be the judges today, and they're going to judge the sleds that are here.
Sleek, spray painted, and seriously creative. First up, this handmade hot rod, named
Panzerwagen.
What? What?
Panzer.
Panzer wagon.
Panzer?
Well, we're still not sure. Next up.
The APTN Mobile.
The APTN Mobile.
Last but not least, choosing simplicity over style.
Tanner.
Yeah?
What's your beef called?
Sweet Victory.
Sweet Victory.
The rules were simple.
So the object behind this is that your sled has to make it all the way down. Forward, hopefully.
Due to multiple forfeitures, APTN won the media category by default.
Surprise what you can do with cardboard.
Building the sled took lead engineer Jeff Dorn 2 days. His secret.
Well, so far it's a lot of Spider-Man sleds that little children will never get to use, and it's naming it properly. That was the real thing. You know, the In-You name made it, and I can't say that.
Leave it to APTN's test pilot, Sylvia Ambroise, to explain.
Quand je suis bonne, je commit la chose qui va super vite dans la glace. Fait que il porte bien son nom.
Its first run was a rousing success.
J'ai été surpris de l'aérodynamisme de la machine. Puis ça a glissé super bien, mais il manquait un peu de direction, là. Il aurait fallu un volant.
After that, it became a head-to-head or sled-to-sled face-off between the remaining two.
Here we go. Fine, Sam.
I can't see anything. The Harringtons' Jeep caught a flat, requiring roadside assistance, and eventually some elbow grease.
All right, we're ready?
Then came Tanner's turn. His Cool Cube ran smooth until slowed by a snowdrift.
That's as far as you can go.
The competition this year was stiffer than the source material.
The first place? Yeah, first place.
Is the a sweet victory for Sweet Victory.
I really did not actually expect to win because theirs is a truck and mine is a box.
Tanner's secret to success? Improvisation.
Well, I saw a Home Depot box yesterday and I decided, hey, what if I flip that over and cut a hole in it?
First place took home $250. Second place, $150, split 2 ways. APTN donated their by default prize money to the Kanesatake Language and Cultural Center. It's obvious what we really came to do.
Lindsay Richardson, APTN National News, Kanesatake, Mohawk Territory.
Well, that is your APTN National News to kick off the week. Looks like they had a great time there. Congratulations to the APTN Montreal Bureau team. I'm Melissa Ridgen. Thanks for joining us. I will leave you with some more video from those guys at the Kanesatake cardboard box sledding race. And have a great night.
On the ball!
Woo!
Yeah!